Hello, I'm Chris Heisey, here to discuss artificial intelligence with Haim Israel. With lightning speed, AI has moved from being a what if to a subject that's dominating conversations on everything from business investment to geopolitics. Yet the rise of AI has hit some speed bumps in 2025. For example, some skeptics are questioning the efficacy of large language models. A new study finds that 95% of companies investing in AI have yet to realize returns. And even some within the industry are suggesting that overexcitement about artificial intelligence has created a market bubble. So what should investors make of these developments? And what's the overall outlook for artificial intelligence? Let's get started. Let's go right to it, Haim. You've heard this a lot. You've studied it a lot. You were early in this a few years back. As you've seen these developments now, where do we stand with some of the headwinds within generative artificial intelligence?
I think it's human nature, Chris, to doubt some of the new technologies that are coming. But for me to go out and say, no, AI is a hoax or AI is just a bubble, it's like saying back in 2001, after the internet bubble, it's never going to fly. This is exactly where we are. The market understood one thing. The picture is so much bigger. Organizations are starting to understand that we have tools to completely change everything.
When you dive into the amount of capital investment that's already been announced, and then we've heard that that announcement was growing, what's your thinking around that in terms of the actual build out, data centers, et cetera?
We didn't even start to scratch the surface about how much money we'll need for this revolution. Chris, we'll need more materials, we need more copper, more fiber, more nickel for that. We'll need more water, we need more data centers. We need at least 50% more data centers than we have today on the planet. We'll have to move a lot of the current data centers and rebuild them. And I'm talking about huge, massive data centers, bigger than Manhattan. In Dubai, they've announced they're going to start building a data center which is going to be bigger than Monaco, and they're starting to build it already. When you sum up all the investment we'll need, and I didn't even start to talk about energy, if we will build all the data centers that I've talked about before that we need, those data centers will require more energy than Japan.
So it's the full chain,
yes.
Right? It's the full chain, not just the chip stack,
no.
Not just the technology stack itself, not just software around it. It's everything, all the components that go into it to allow this to be pulled through.
Exactly. We have to start thinking about everything holistically. We can't just look at the chip. We can't just look at the model.
I want to talk a little bit on return on investment for a second, because as investors, right, if you don't have the ROI on the cost of capital that you're spending, why would you do it?
We have to stop thinking in the quarterly return on equity, return on EPSs and all this stuff. This is very, very different in this case. If you think about in those terms, we never made a return on the internet investment till today. If we really think about it, but can you even imagine the world without it? This is exactly where we are right now. We can create drugs, we can increase life expectancy, we can create more materials, we can create everything today using AI. What is the ROI on that? I have no idea, but we can completely change the world if we think in these ways.
You mentioned energy before. What types of new energy must we think about using to be able to generate the power that's needed to actually run these very massive digital highways?
We learned something in the last couple of years. We need energy which is going to be independent. We need to be cheap because we need a lot of it. And we need to be scalable fast because the revolution is happening here and now. Nuclear is making a big comeback. The second one that we're seeing massive investments is renewables. Wind, solar are the cheapest by far today, and 25% cheaper versus fossils. But in the last 2 years, the extra energy that US have added to the grid, 85% of it was renewable energy.
Wow.
Even hydrogen is making a comeback. The one, natural gas, of course, fast, cheap. Remember that 83% of the world is importing oil and not exporting oil, and most countries do not want to go that way.
Let's talk about other advancements. What other use cases can you see out there? Is it robotics? Is it just automation? Is that the next level?
For me, the one that is probably going to change our life faster than everything is agentic AI. Agentic AI meaning AI agents which are not just giving us information, but actually doing tasks for us, which are communicating with other agents, which can be employees for 100% of the time, can build marketing campaign, can create models, can do everything for us without our intervention.
And with every great innovation we've seen over the course of, again, 100 years, 200 years, you see that J-curve effect where job displacement happens and then there's an outgrowth of job. You see this as well?
Yes, I do see that, and we need to think about the jobs of the future right now. Everything is about to change. I do need creativity. I do need social skills. I do need emotions. I need ethics. Those are the things I will need in the future, which will give me an edge. So we need to think about the job market in a different way. We are big believers that there will be more jobs than less jobs because the economy is about to boom, but there will be very different jobs.
So Chaim, you talked about a revolution, but also with some revolutions, there are risks. When it comes to risks, how do you talk about that in terms of this revolution?
Sure. So first of all, we need to understand this revolution is happening whether we want it or not. The risks are huge, Chris. We need to understand that. They are not mitigated by regulation today, by governments today. They are just, this technology is spreading and the risk with it. We talked about the agentic AI revolution, right. Huge implementation or implication on the job market already today. And by the way, it's already having today. Today, lawyers are at all-time lows in terms of demand. Today, software engineer demand is at all-time low. You would think about it that, this an AI revolution will need more and more engineers. No, the other way around is happening because everybody can code today. I don't need coders anymore. So it has huge implications to the job market. Today, what we are seeing is that a lot of the world energy is being channeled to AI, is not channeled to the population, water, resources, everything. And of course, the number one risk that I see over here, and that's privacy, cybersecurity, and everything that's related to that, deep fakes. We're starting to see this hitting upon us, and there are no solutions yet.
Moving on now to global dominance. With every new innovation, for the most part, dominating that next wave of innovation means you dominate, usually the global economic growth curve, et cetera, and also national defense. Let's talk about the race for global dominance. Where do we sit right now?
First of all, I think that everything that we see geopolitically right now is connected to this point. US is trying to protect their advantage in AI, reshore everything, bring operation back home, and protect the IP across the world. So if we had this conversation roughly around a year ago, I would tell you that US has an opportunity of a lifetime to completely be dominant as it is right now because AI is first and foremost an American technology. When we look at what is really needed to control the AI revolution, we spoke about we need more materials. But guess who controls most of the raw materials on the planet? It's China. We need more water. China have more water infrastructure built up than any country in the world. We need more energy. Did you know that every 18 months, China adds more capacity of energy than the US? And we need more human resources. We need more talents. 70% of the world AI talents are located in China. So China has what it takes to dominate the race. US is fighting back, and I'm sure that this deglobalization trend that we're seeing right now, which is really leading the AI revolution that we're seeing, will continue and will expand.
Let's end on this. Is the AI revolution rivaling what the Industrial Revolution did to the advancement of not just the United States, but the developing world and the developed world?
I'm a big believer it's so much bigger. The other thing that to show you compare the Industrial Revolution is that if I compare the Moore's Law, which usually how we measure technology, to the development of the AI models, since 2018 that the LLM revolution have started, AI outpaced the Moore's Law by a factor of 3,000. It's jumping 3,000 times faster than the Moore's Law. We are in rates that we've never seen in the past, and the Industrial Revolution took bit by bit to get to every other industry. This is now spreading to every industry in warp speed.
Chaim, thanks for all these insights. We hope today's conversation gives you a better picture of the extraordinary changes underway in artificial intelligence, along with some risks. If you work with an advisor, they can help you consider whether and how to include potential AI-related opportunities as part of a diversified long-term portfolio. As always, keep in mind that any investments or adjustments should be made with your own personal goals and situation in mind. Thanks for watching.